Hello everyone, welcome to Grandma's Crochet Corner. We're doing tutorials crochet 101 and today is going to be covering chains and single crochets. So here we go. For what we're going to be doing today, for any crochet project, you're going to need your crochet hooks, your scissors. You might need some darning needles. They come in plastic and metal, and some stitch markers. So we're going to start with our chains. I'm going to move, I don't need my scissors right now, so I'm going to move them out of the way. I don't need this darning needle. I might need these, so I'm just going to put them off to the side, but I'm going to keep them close. Now, you're probably wondering, if you're going to teach us how to crochet, doing a single stitch and chains, why do you have 2 crochet hooks? I'm going to explain that as we go along, but it's for making the chains. Some people, when they're first starting out, they make their chains very tight, and if you're one of those people, you're going to want to go up a half size. We're going to be using a 100% acrylic yarn. Now I'm going to teach you to do the chain. I'm going to go up a half, and then I'm going to crochet the single crochets with my 5.5, just so that you can see how to use it. I am using Red Heart and red, hoping that this will be easier. I'm going to use what they call a pencil. I hold my hook pencil style. Some people hold their hook like this. Everyone does something different. Sometimes it's the knife hold, but I always use the pencil like this. So I always start out with my chain by wrapping the string around my finger like so. So it's got a cross right there. And then behind me, I'm going to tuck that underneath there and pull it out. And that's a slip knot. I hope I got that under the camera right, but that's a slip knot. I'm going to put my hook right on there. That's a slip knot. Now, to do a chain, I hold my string in these 3 fingers, and then up here, I hold right here, and I'm going to do like a little tuck, a little dip pull like this. I'm going to wrap my yarn around like this, but I'm not going to use this hand to do it, because this is going to be where I hold my yarn on my hook. And then I'm going to, when I do my chains, I'm going to dip with my needle and wrap that around. I'm going to make 10 chains, so we're going to keep going around it. We want all of our chains to be about the same size. So as you're making this chain, these fingers, this thumb and this pointer finger, is going to pull that chain, you know, but this is controlling my tension, and I want all my stitches to be the same size. So again, see that? I wrapped the needle. I used my needle to wrap the yarn around it. I call it a dip. I'm just gonna do a dip underneath that yarn and bring it up, and I'm gonna use the, but see, when I come and to try to get it so that it's all the same, you want to get that loop up here on the shaft of the needle. You know, when you go wrap it around, this neck right here helps catch with that, helps catch it. But then when you pull it through, you're going to want to slide that up on the shaft. This helps get all of your loops the same size by putting it on the shaft. And I'm not holding my yarn tight. I'm just, I hope I'm underneath the camera, but I'm just pulling it ever, you know, and you need to keep doing this. This takes a long time to really get so that your loops are fairly the same size. So with practice, I used to tell my grandchildren when I'm teaching them, just make like a bunch of chains all day long. Just sit down, watch your favorite show, and just make loops until you start noticing that it's going straight, they're not crooked, they look pretty much the same size. When you start out, you'll find that your chains are either too tight, too loose, they might be turning. You want to practice. If the yarn is turning and it's all over the place, it's because you're not holding it. So try to remember to hold your yarn, pinch it, you know, and as you're making your stitches, you know, you're just gonna keep moving. Yeah, you're just gonna see how I'm using my needle to wrap, using my hook to wrap the yarn around the head, and then I'm picking it, going through that loop. I'm using the shaft right here to size that loop. I'm holding my yarn, the tension, so I'm just, and I make sure you pinch, and you're just gonna pull. You're using the needle and your thumb and your forefinger just to pull. And with practice, you'll get this. It takes practice. You're not going to do this the first time. So you need to keep practicing. Practice, practice, practice. And you practice and then you pull it out. Just frog it out. And then you can start all over again. So it's very important just to remember that the size of that loop depends on this shaft. So you don't want to do it down here because then it's going to be too tight. Now if I did it down here, it's very tight. And that's what a lot of beginners, they start out doing, is just around the neck of the needle. If you're doing it around the neck of the needle, you're going to get really tight stitches. We don't want that, and you don't want that, believe me. So you want this shaft to size that loop. That's what the shaft is for. The neck is to help catch the yarn, and the head is to, you know, really catch it. So you see that movement? You want that movement. I hope I'm underneath the camera right. I guess I'll find out when I record this. So once you get a few on there, I'm gonna do 10. Now when I count my stitches to see if I have 10, I'm not going to count the loop that is on that hook. I'm going to start under it. I'm going to count that one right there. I'm not going to count the loop that's on my stitch as one of my chains. It's not a chain yet. It doesn't start to be a chain until it's down here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we got the slip knot. So I only have 8. I want 10. So I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to fix my loop so it's, you know, not snug and tight, because it was loose. You don't want it to be like this because that's too big for that shaft. You want to bring it down. So it's not super loose, but it's not tight on that shaft. You can still move it. And then I'm going to dip my hook around the yarn and bring it through. And I'm holding it with my pinky back here, this yarn. And that was 1. And now that's 2. So I needed 10 to do 10, I need 1 more. Because I'm not going to, when I go into to start my single crochets, I need that 1 to use as a space for the next row. Otherwise, that first stitch would be too tight. So see that? This is 1, this is 2. So I'm going to go down to the second one to start my single crochets. You see that? 1, not the one on the hook, because we don't count that because it's not a stitch. That's the first stitch. This is the second stitch. So to do a single crochet we're going to go into that second stitch. Now, if you can see inside that stitch, it's 3 parts. There's 3 strands. There's one here in the middle, and then one down here. We want to go into the spot that's the top spot. It's above the, see the second strand right there? We're going into that part of the loop that's just the top, and it brings up 1 loop. Now, sometimes it says to make your single crochet in the second strand of the loop. You know, you would go underneath it, but we're going on top of that one that curves right in the center. We're going right in that spot right there, and we're going to go around. We got 2 loops on that, and we wrap it around. See how my thumb is holding on to my stitches, my chain, and I'm going to use my thumb to move. So again, I'm going to go into the top part of that chain, going to go in, draw up that loop on my hook on the head of that my needle, and I'm going to see how I'm sliding the work up to the shaft. That's going to make the size. Otherwise, if you use down here where it's tapered, you're going to have tight stitches. So you want to go up here. And I'm still using my 6.0. I did not switch over. So I am going to frog this, go back down to my chain. Now it's a little loose. That's all right. I'm going to pick up my 5.5, go in here. I'm going to take it to the shaft, make sure it's, you know, I can move it. I'm going to, there's that first chain right there. I'm going to go into the second chain right there above that center strand. I'm going to go into that part of the loop, draw up. I got 2 loops on. I wrapped it around. I'm holding my work. I'm using this to tug. There you go. And I'm on the shaft. I'm not down here. Again, we're going to go into above that middle strand that goes through that chain, draw up a loop, wrap it, and I'm holding it down here. My fingers back here is holding onto the yarn. Again, you're going to go above that center. I don't know if you can see that center piece that goes right through that stitch, that chain, but I'm going to go above it right there. I'm going to go in. I'm going to grab that hook, grab that yarn, and I'm going to go through both loops. And that's all there is to a single crochet, people. It's that simple. And it's this that you need to practice. So you can do like a chain of like 30 or a chain of 100 and just practice going up that chain and picking up that yarn. Go in, pick up the yarn. You gotta wrap it around again. Go through both loops. Again, go through that loop on the top part of that chain. And after a while, this just becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it. It's like riding a bike. But it's going to take you practice. I crocheted left-handed. But see, there's the first one right there. Now, if you have a hard time with that first stitch, you can go ahead and put, see how it's a V? This is the chain down here. This is the V of that first crochet, single crochet. So if you have a hard time finding your stitches, and a lot of new people do, just stick I'll show you when we get up here. See how I'm already done. Let's count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now if I had 30 on here, like if you were making dishcloths, you would start out with 31 chains. and you skipped one because that's that 31, but you would have 30 on here. But just for this example, we have 10. At the end, this is your slip knot. Now what I usually do when I get here to the end is I just go ahead and tighten that like that. I just tighten it and I go right back in there. Now on your chain, on your single crochets, when you chain, you do chain 1, and that's your spacer for when you turn your work and you go into that first V. See, that's my chain 1 right there. That's my first chain. So I'm going to go right in there, and if you look at the very top, you'll see the V. That's where you go to. You're going in there, and then you're going to pick up that chain and scoop it up. That's your first chain. Again, if you're worried that you're going to not see that first chain right there, because some people want to put it into that turning chain, that's my first crochet right there, my first single crochet. I'm going to stick a safety pin. Now, I've been doing this for so many years. I can actually really, I don't need to do that. You can put it through both loops if you wanted to. It might be easier because you're going to have your work turned. So I tell my grandkids to do this if they're having problems with keeping a straight line on the edge. Just stick a stitch marker in there. After you turn your work and you make that first stitch, put a stitch marker in it. See? Just a stitch marker. Put it through that V of that first stitch. And then I go to the next one. I grab that yarn. Oh, I grab that yarn, pull it through, and see how my thumbs and my forefinger, the yarn is through my fingers? Yeah, I'm holding my work. I am holding my work. And, oh, that's the double. So I go into that loop, and it's just, you see how you got 2 lines here? You're going right above that bottom part. You're going right in between, and you're picking up both. You're going to have 2 like little loops on here. This is single crochets. Single crochets. Now see right here, I got it just on the front loop. I want it on both for a single crochet. Go right, make sure you have that V on your hook, and go pick it up and turn. Now this sometimes, some stitchers, they'll want you to do just go through the front or the back loop. And so then you would just do your single crochet in your back loop. Or it might say single crochet in the front loop. It's that front. So that's the front and that's the back loop. But we're doing regular crochets, regular single crochets, so you're going through both of those loops. So in the patterns, you're going to see that, front and back loops. But we're focused on going through both of those loops. And you go right down the line. And you try to make your tension the same. And when you're moving right along, your tensions will be the same. See, now I'm at the end of my row. And there is my last stitch, because I remember when the first crochet I did, the single crochet I did, I put a stitch marker in it. So I know this is my last stitch. Now once I'm done and I chained 1, I'm going to take that out because I don't need it in that stitch no more. And I chained 1. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to go to that first crochet, single crochet. I'm going to make my stitch. That's my first single crochet. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it through both of those loops, because when I come back to it, that's the trick right there is to put a stitch marker in there. And it doesn't have to be one of these. You could just get an off color and just stick a piece of thread through there. It doesn't have to be. It just needs something so you can mark that. So when you're crocheting back and forth, you know which one's the last one. Now believe me, being a brand new crocheter, when I was, my work was always messed up. My edges, they just kept getting smaller and smaller. So after a while, you can just continue crocheting all the way down, keeping the same tension. It's all about the tension too. You want to hold your yarn a certain way, pull it out, you know, hold on to it. It just takes practice. You're going to be frustrated. Oops, I did a double. That's a different stitch you'll learn in the next video. So just keep practicing, you'll get it. And try to get, I've been doing this for, let's see, I'm 65, over 50 years. And see, I'm getting down to that last, that's the last stitch. So I'm going to take that out, or you can leave it in until you put the needle through. However you want to do it. You know, you can put your needle right through there, and you can pull it up and crochet if you want to do it that way, and take that out. It's that simple, guys. And what that helps you do is to keep that edge straight. See how it's fairly straight? That's what we want. So we're gonna turn our work, crochet one chain and turn our work. There's that first stitch. It's right there. See how it has the V? You want to look for the V. Pull up, wrap your work around, yarn around, and see there's that first V. So I'm going to stick my, and if you can tell by looking at the V, you don't need these stitch markers, you know. But if you find that your edges are getting smaller because you didn't catch that last one, or if you find out that it's getting bigger and you're going like this, it's because you crocheted into that chain. Start using stitch markers to mark that last chain. Or right here, it's my first chain, my first single crochet. So I got it wrapped through the loops. So I mark it and I can go right to the second one and go right along. Now, you can do all kinds of things with a single crochet. It's a very popular stitch. If you're crocheting something like this and you find the tension, you know, your stitches are too tight, you can always go up to the next size. You know, a lot of people, you know, I'm teaching you to go by the recommended size that's on your banner. But if you look at it and you want it looser, you can go up to the next size hook. It's all your preference. You have the control. Whatever it is you like, that's how you do it. Now see, I'm down to that last stitch. Now I would take it out. The last one we kept it in. As long as you take it out and you can see that V right there and go right through that V, you're golden, girl. You're golden. Yeah, see? See? Now that's the single crochet right there. Now, with a single crochet, you can make things like this little cute little, this is all of it. The ears, the face, the back. It's all single crochets. You know, I'm going around and around, changing colors, you know, sewing the ears on. But this is all single crochets. You can make amigurumis with a single crochet. As long as you know how to chain, you can do a slip stitch, which a slip stitch is very, very easy. You can make an amigurumi. You were just taught how to do the simple stitches that this calls for, pretty much. Yeah. So on that note, guys, I'm gonna pick all this up and I'm gonna move along. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, say goodbye, happy crocheting. Practice, 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 people. Practice, practice, practice. Now I'm going to do the next one tomorrow. Today was a single crochet in the chain. Tomorrow will be the half double crochet. The half double crochet actually is my favorite stitch. So let's practice. Practice, practice, practice. Grandma says to practice, practice. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.